Good afternoon. The Committee on General Government Operations and Appropriation and Housing is now called to order. For the record, today is Friday, June 26, 2020, and the time now is 4:07. Notice for this public hearing was disseminated via email to all senators and all main media broadcasting outlets. First public notice was issued on Friday, June 19, 2020, and the second notice was issued on Wednesday, June 24, 2020. The committee will hear and accept testimonies on Bill 307-35 CR, sponsored by myself, an act to appropriate $550,000 from the fiscal year 2019 unappropriated general fund balance to the Guam Election Commission for the operation and conduct the 2020 primary election. I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues that have joined me, and that's Senator Kelly Marsh Taito and Senator Jim Moylan. The general rules for the public hearing. Those testifying on Bill 307 will be recognized by myself, and we have the Guam Election Commission folks here. Written testimony shall be submitted to the committee. Please provide my legislative staff with your written testimony for photocopying. Testimony may be read, and lengthy testimony should be summarized. Testimony shall be confined to the substance. We're talking about an act to appropriate $550,000 from the fiscal year 2019. Once you're done, you are asked to remain in the room for questions or for additional testimony as may be desired by the members of the committee. Proper form and decorum shall be practiced by all present in the public hearing room for these proceedings. Individuals who fail to maintain proper form and decorum may be restricted from providing oral testimony and or may be asked to leave or be escorted from the room. When you speak, please make sure that the microphone is on and that you speak into the microphone. You will state your name. We will now begin to discuss Bill 307-35, sponsored by myself, an act to appropriate $550,000 from the fiscal year 2019 unappropriated general fund balance to the Guam Election Commission for operations and to conduct the 2020 primary election. My colleagues, Bill 307, the findings and intent is on the bill. Legislature Guam finds that the appropriation of Guam Election Commission in fiscal year 2020 was $1,399,414 versus the Commission's request for $1,995,511, and thus inadequate to ensure operational obligation election mandates are met. Therefore, it is the intent of the legislature to appropriate from the fiscal year 2019 unappropriated general fund balance to the Guam Election Commission to ensure the success of 2020 primary election and operational costs of the commission. We have the Guam Election Commission present, members, Ms. Panglinan and her staff, and if you would please provide us some testimony.
Chairman and Senator Moylan and Senator Kelly Marsh Taito. Sidus Masi, Mr. Chairman, for introducing Bill number 307-35 to appropriate $550,000 to the Guam Election Commission for operations and to conduct the 2020 primary election. The GEC's fiscal year 2020 budget request was $1,995,511. However, the fiscal year 2020 appropriation was only $1,399,414. With the current appropriations, the GEC will not be able to cover the cost of the primary election, including but not limited to precinct official stipends, ballot production, and public notices as mandated by the election code. Additionally, the GEC respectfully requests your assistance to amend Public Law 35-7 to make the appropriation available for general operations until expended. Public Law 35-7 appropriated $298,536. Enactment of the amendment will allow the GEC to execute the reappointment of the GEC employees as requested and appropriated in Public Law 35-7. Sidhu Usmasi for your continued support of the Guam Election Commission.
Thank you, Ms. Pangilinan. Senators, Senator Kelly, do you have any questions you would like to pose to Ms. Pangilinan?
Situus Masi, Mr. Chair. Yes, I have a few small things that I'd like to go over. So I was noticing with the numbers. So from the original request of $1,995,511 to what you were appropriated, and then looking at the $550,000 for the supplemental, there's a difference of $46,097. Were there savings along the way this year that you didn't need to also request the $46,097?
We probably were looking at, I have to go back because this was done sometime. Do you remember what it was? Oh, yes. So, Senator Marsh, thank you. I'm older than Tomas, and he remembers. So, our advertising expense has been reduced. What we did was we took out those that were not mandated. And so our media partners have been very good. We send out press releases, and we also, when I call in, they get us on the radio so that we can pass on the message to the voters. Thank you.
Well, and cost savings are always good to hear, so Situus Ma'asi for that, and thank you especially, Tom, for remembering that piece of information. With the advertising, so here you have $20,000. What type of advertising are you looking towards? Is it going to be across different platforms?
No. For example, the law says that we have to put the list of precinct officials on in print publication. So that's expensive because that's a that's a list of 335 names. We also have a notice of elections, and I believe we have to do that 3 times. So then for our sample ballot too has to be published.
I see. So this is really directed by what needs to be done as mandated.
Yes.
And then you mentioned that the additional sort of advertisements that you'll be doing, because they're COVID-19 related, some of them, you'll be able to do that otherwise.
Yes.
And I was interested in also the deputized homebound officials. Could you describe that a little bit, the numbers of and typically how they go out there and add to the primary election experience?
So again, homebound voters are considered absentee voters as well. So we put out there in the public, we get our message out that please call our office for those voters who are homebound, truly homebound. The voter can call us, or a loved one or the caregiver can call us. When they call us, we'll get the information, validate that they are registered to vote. Our homebound officials will be deputized. We pick up extra personnel to help us with that. So we have our homebound voter coordinator, and she will collect all the information for each voter, and then we will assign them. For the first week, it becomes we can be hitting maybe 10, 12 villages, and what happens is our homebound deputized official could be accompanied by political party observers. We will pull out ballots to bring to them, and we will also 2 deputized officials. Nobody goes by themselves. 2 deputized officials, possibly with observers from both political parties, will go to a home, and we will give them the opportunity to vote right at home. Senator March, we also visit the hospitals. We also visit SNU and St. Dominic's, Naval Hospital, and GRMC.
It's excellent to hear about those details because we really see that you're doing the most that you can to make sure that as many people as possible are part of this democratic process, and that we're not letting limitations keep them from the process as much as we can. So about how many deputized homebound officials are accommodated by the 18,500?
I believe it's, I believe it's 5. That's additional 5 homebound officials. We are going to pick up more because of COVID, but we will pick them up with COVID funds.
Very good to hear. And about how many people typically vote from home?
I think 300? About over 300. If I remember correctly, I think 18 was like 348. Yeah.
And to the best of your recollection, I know it's a lot to try to recall off the top of your head, but to the best of your recollection, is it something along those lines for the election prior to that, for 2016?
I think our numbers grew, but no, maybe the 2018 cycle was when, no, our number grew from 2016 to 2018. Yes. I don't remember, but those again, even Senator Kelly March, those numbers actually are available on our website under reports and publications. As you know, we compile the election comparative analysis report, and so all those publications are on our website all the way back to 1976. And included in that publication is the number of homebound voters.
That's very good to know that it's there, and quite impressive that it goes all the way back to the 70s. And it maybe tells us something. I mean, we know now, especially with this COVID-19, that we have a population with a high rate of comorbidity and things like that. And so it'd be interesting to see if this is a growing trend. And as you mentioned, with COVID-19, we're probably going to see these numbers increase. In order to avail themselves of this homebound voting, is it the same as the other that we were discussing just a little bit ago, that it's basically a self-declaration?
Yes.
And
yes.
Okay, so, and that will be very good, because then hopefully a lot of people who feel they need those services or are feeling unsafe, that they can take care of their voting that way. How do we take care of the notarization? Well, I guess, you know, maybe I'm mixing up the absentee ballot. So I think you said it fits within the absentee ballot system, but because it's in person, it doesn't need to have all those layers that going by the mail?
Oh, it still does, yes.
Yes.
So I'm proud to say, and I say it with a big smile, that our 14 employees, 11 of them are notary publics, and 3 are scheduled to take the test on June 29th. So our staffer, who goes out as a deputized homebound official, is a notary, should be a notary as well.
Very good. So it is still part of the process, and there is that extra step of assurance then. Mm-hmm. So that overall is very good to hear. And then, yes, I'd be interested in seeing how this trend goes this year, because you know, it may be telling us something for the future as well. So Assiduous Maasi, Mr. Chair, it was basically those two areas that I wanted to look at in more detail.
Thank you. Senator Moylan, do you have any questions you would like to pose to the Election Commission?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I'd like to just be able to end this, that number one, many that are watching and many that are running for this election need to understand that as the oversight chair of the Guam Election Commission, I'm obligated to ensure that there is success in this 2020 primary election and the operational costs of the commission. And if I continue to be a senator, I intend to make sure that whatever it costs to make sure we have a safe and honest election, then we pay for the price. And that's what we should all be supporting. Not coming up with every excuse for everything else to say we shouldn't pay for what it costs to run an election. But let's just do what we need to do. And with that note, the committee will conclude the public hearing on bill number 307-35. The committee will continue to receive testimony. Please address your written testimony to the Committee on General Government Operation, Appropriation, and Housing. Submit it via email to Senator Joe S. @gmail.com. Assiduous Maasi for your attendance and participating in today's hearing. And for those at home, thank you for watching. The public hearing for Bill 307-35 COR is now adjourned. It is 4:24. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a nice day. Enjoy your weekend.